Brain on Air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
Słuchasz swojego mózgu analu. Program zacznie się wkrótce. Cieszyć.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I am your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. And Connie, you evil bitch, that wasn't the recipe. You looked me in the eye and you lied to me. You said Michelle Turnberg was going to be the next mayor of Fargo. Now it's Josh, just some gay guy. Josh Boschee, ladies and gentlemen. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the idea that he's gay. Obama was gay. Justin Trudeau was gay. Trump is bi. Some of our leaders of all time have been gay. Let's give it a chance before we condemn him for anything other than his weight. By the way, Josh, you gotta get a handle on that. No one likes a fat mayor, unless you plan to be a villainous Oswald Cobblepot type. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, North Dakota mayor election results. Josh Boschee struck it home with 46.7% of the vote. And in second place, I'm guessing mostly because of my endorsement, Michelle Turnberg turned in 27% of the vote. Josh received 10,092 votes. She received 5,977. And right below her, Denise Kolpak, David Pipecorn, and then Sekow Sirleaf. I don't know who the hell was voting for Sekow Sirleaf in general, but I guess there was a few stragglers out there, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a message, election day message from Josh, our new mayor in Fargo, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it.
Good morning, y'all. Just did the deed.
He just had sex, ladies and gentlemen.
At least I have one vote for mayor, but appreciate all the support you guys have offered over the last 5 months.
You got it, Josh.
Good energy this morning in the voting location I went. We'll have a link for all the different Cass County places you can vote, not just for mayor, but also city commission, school board, park board. Vote no on constitutional measure 1, vote yes on Fargo infrastructure tax renewal number 1.
What are you talking about?
Just some quick last minute plugs as we go into the full mode of
No one knows what specifically you're asking us to vote against, by the way.
So, thanks for any of you that are volunteering or working today at the polls. You make our democracy so accessible, and it was fun to walk in, especially when you all led the cheers for first-time voters that were voting this morning. So, some good energy. Get out and vote. You have till 7 p.m. today, and if you're able to, join us at the Avalon Event Center this evening as we watch election results come in. Have a great day, y'all.
Thank you so much, Josh. And now you're the fucking mayor. You are the mayor of Fargo. And listen, keep up the gentle fat guy energy like that. So is it Cam or Mitch? Which one from Modern Family? I don't know because I didn't watch it. You got this nice gentle fat guy energy. And whether or not you're a Freemason, that's not really... Can you confirm for us, yes or no, Josh? I think we just need a little more clarity. We need a little bit more true vision from our politics. Listen, from our politicians more specifically, we need them to stop belonging to these like brotherhood institutions, all this weird shit where they're like, we're bettering humanity, anything like that. We need to make sure if you belong to any Masonic lodge, you can never hold office, unfortunately. Josh, what ideas do you have to keep Fargo a destination city? Sodomy, non-procreative sex? Fargo is already pretty banging for that if you didn't already know. Also, Josh, you're gay, right? Would you rather be the ass guy or the dick guy, right? Because like if you're the ass guy, why would you want that? It's just like it's gonna hurt you read to me as a dick guy. I feel like Josh doesn't let anyone bend him over. He's gonna bend you over. He's gonna bend this whole city over and have it raw all to himself. Best of luck to you, Josh. You're a real king, a dominant king. We hope you can be just as dominant in your governing as you are to your sodomites.
Fargo's been bringing a lot of new entertainment to Fargo. Like,
I only call his partners sodomites because he's not publicly married.
Sweet shots, kingpins, all those things like that. Under your leadership, is there anything that you would like to see more of in Fargo, whether that's restaurants, bars, more entertainment, anything like that? Is there anything you'd like to see?
Yeah, certainly.
Death.
Make sure Fargo is a destination.
A destination.
For those of us that choose to live here, that there are things we can do to keep ourselves busy and our families, but that people from around the region continue to come and spend.
Kill the panhandlers.
Then fund things like the Civic Center because they stay in hotels. Helps keep our small restaurants and small businesses alive because people...
How about you keep all of your development in the city limits of Fargo? How about you start actually holding it a little more close to yourselves and you stop encouraging development further out east? As a matter of fact, Detroit Lakes, get your nasty, all of you Fargoans who are moving out to my hometown, get your nasty mitts off that beautiful lakeside city. Listen, that lake, it's our lake, all right? It has swimmer's itch, and you wouldn't like it. it. You wouldn't appreciate it. You don't appreciate Zorba's during the summer. You don't appreciate it during the winter. If you're not willing to eat at Zorba's during the winter, you don't deserve the city, ladies and gentlemen. And I want every person who thinks that they're going to be able to call that city home in the future out. I want them out. They don't belong there. They are outsiders. And Detroit Lakes is a place that has community and values.
Or buying, their product. And so, I think whatever ideas folks have, and that's evolving. As far as what people are into and what they like. I would love
Walmarts that you can walk around in again.
To be able to work with the Fargo Dome Authority more to talk about what can we do more to activate that building.
What?
The Civic Center isn't chosen as a final site for the convention center. I've seen that as kind of a stranded asset. So what can we do to make sure that is more accessible, whether it's community events or bringing in different promoters?
You can have a bake sale.
A lot of EMD music that'd be a great place. It's a dark space.
Yeah.
EMD music? What, that you want to make every spot like the OB, the old Broadway? You want every place to be like the aquarium in downtown Fargo? These fucking lots where people with fucking nose rings and shit get sweaty all over each other? Why do you... What?
Good lights,
Yeah.
Good lights.
Nine was there.
Oh my god, I love how you can hear his hyposibilant S sometimes. Like, listen, Josh, you cannot get away from it. My gaydar goes off with you. It's alarmingly so.
Yeah. I've talked to some different folks who said that they have tried to put together, produce a show, and they found it challenging.
What?
So how do we reduce that barrier? So again,
okay, Josh Boschee wants more shows. We need more shows to make Fargo a destination spot. Great. You know what? I think that great idea. If you want more shows, I have one to pitch to you. Live executions of the homeless that we managed to round up. Now, here, I understand many people are going to go, this is old school, this is medieval, we don't believe in public executions. What did they do wrong? They violated the camping ordinance, and that is crime enough. Listen, if we had a real leader in the Fargo City Hall, like Michelle Turnberg, if we had a real leader who was use her ability to focus those satellites that are hovering right above our heads, I want the Fargo mayor to be able to call in a communication line directly to Raytheon, any lasers in the sky, and I want them to beam them down and vaporize homeless people in the middle of the night in order to make sure that our streets are clean, in order to make sure that we're safe. That is just what we need to do. And if you really think that Fargo needs more, we need drag queen story hour, shut the fuck up. We need public executions in the park. That is the only way to get this place bumping.
Hear about the needle exchange program.
Not an exchange.
Hell yeah, Michelle.
Can you just explain that? Because I don't think...
Michelle Turnberg, about to tell you what the needle exchange program's truth is.
A lot of people understand even what that is and what the purpose is. Could you break that down for us?
Yes, it was a bill that was introduced into the state legislature, I believe, in 2018. They called it the Safe Syringe Program. And it was pretty wide open. And the idea behind it was to help prevent the spread of communicable diseases.
Well, by the way, this all started with the AIDS epidemic in the 80s. It all draws back to the idea of if you don't want gays, because apparently gays are the only ones using heroin, but if you don't want people to get clean needles, you're homophobic. You're actually anti the poverty. You're anti the poverty stricken. No, I'm anti the poverty stricken slamming needles into their veins. How about that?
Well, what it's done is it's attracted people from all around the region to come to Fargo and to get their free needles, which they throw all over the city.
Hell yeah.
We're encouraging people to do illegal drugs.
I find them in the park. I find them in the park when I go on walks. It's nice when you just walk around and find a hypodermic needle.
Crack pipes? I mean, what on earth that wasn't approved by the city, that was never even brought forward. The only way I found out about it was a police officer reached out to me and asked what was going on and why are there so many crack pipes around City Hall? Well, because across the street they were handing them out. So that needs to stop.
Agreed, Michelle Turnberg, but now it's not going to be able to stop because we have Josh, but listen, Boschee, whether or not you run the city into the ground, that is up to you. You're not this, I know that people like to call you a politics guy. Yeah, you were bought out for the Senate. You were bought out in order to make sure that you're just this face that goes along with the program. You're a real estate broker. You're a land guy. The fuck do you know about anything when it comes to running a city? You can't even keep your buildings in order, by the way. I know people. Your company sounds fake fake as hell. Real Brokerage LLC. Are you stealing money? What kind of a business name is that? The hell? Who are you, Josh? Come on the show. We need answers about who you are. No one understands you. I promise you. I'll contain myself. I'll cool it on the sodomy and fat jokes. I just want to know that you're not a Freemason. I look your name up on Google and it comes up with the Moorhead Masonic Lodge. Please tell me there is nothing to this, that you disavow secret societies. Please, Josh. We cannot trust you unless we know this absolute tentpole issue. You're not the new fatter Pete Buttigieg. This is not South Bend, Indiana. Please. By the way, if you do not know about the Moorhead Masonic Lodge or the Masonic Lodge in Fargo, look it up. It's in the neighborhood of Washington on Google Maps, up on 3rd Street North. If you're looking for the one in Moorhead, Moorhead's Lodge is on 11th Street North, also on Google Maps. They try to lure people in with free breakfasts every Saturday and shit. And by the way, if you know one of your family members that's a Freemason, get mad at them for that. Get mad at them for the fact that they're joining secret societies. Don't get mad at the fact that your dad supports ICE. Get mad at him because he goes and sacrifices children at night. Don't get mad at him because, you don't want illegals to have just as many rights as the natural-born Americans. No. Your dad is digging a ceremonial dagger out of the broken sternum of a 6-year-old. You need to look at things honestly with real, true perspective. Okay, folks, whatever. I think that there's a real issue with who the new mayor of Fargo is, but I don't know. I have no idea whether or not the guy bought out by super PACs is going to be decent. I have no idea whether or not he's going to run the city into the ground, but can I just tell you this? No matter what he chooses to do to whoever, like, if you live in the city Fargo long term and you're like, man, my family has lived here for a long time, then you're fucked. I'm sorry to say it, you're kind of fucked. You're the one who's trapped here. People like me who can come and leave whenever they please, it's a little bit better for us. I'm sorry to say it. I'll continue to comment on your city. I'll continue to watch it. I'll continue to survey it. But whatever happens to it, I'll just leave. I'll just head out of the Fargo-Moorhead area if it gets bad enough. If it gets to the point where there is rapes on every night, on every street corner, in every apartment building, there's like blonde girls getting dismembered by their boyfriends, like how whatever happened a couple months ago, like, I will just head out. In all honesty, when that person comes knocking on my door, that'll be the last day that you see me in town. Because I love a show. I love a show especially that has nothing to do with me, and this has nothing to do with me. Objectively, I thought that this city could be an interesting place. I thought Moorhead could be an interesting place. They are governed so poorly that it's like, you walk around certain destinations, they feel like Saudi Arabia. And this is not because of the race of the people occupying the apartment buildings. It kind of is. Some places. But in all honesty, the white people are just as trashy. They like to pretend that just because they live in North Dakota, Minnesota, the white people are suddenly, we're middle class and shit like that. You live in a one-story house. Get off your high horse, all right? I'm going to be honest with you. Most of you live in one-story houses, and that's nothing to be proud of. And even more of you live in apartments. So enough with this lofty attitude that most cities obtain. By the way, the city of Fargo is one of the loftiest places you'll ever meet, where these people, it's very distinct. Once you slowly start to get out of the center of downtown, there's a little bit more, tread in people's steps. There's a little bit more people who know their way around. There's people who know that the city's full of shit. There's people who just kind of, but they live with it. It's like the people that you know who have cancer and they just keep smoking, and you go, isn't your doctor telling you that you're set for 5 years from now? And they go, I'm going to keep smoking because, like, it's just 5 years. Why not enjoy those 5 years? That's what the attitude is of people who've been in the city of Fargo long term. And I don't plan to be one of those types. Unfortunately. I plan to live in it as long as it gives me content to talk about. All right, then I will head out. Then I will ditch. I will ditch once it eventually dries of all of its content. And I look forward to the day, because then it will give me a great excuse to flee out into the countryside. Okay, so the United States, let's cover our first story, why don't we? The dramatic escalation ordered by President Donald Trump. We have bombed Iran again, perfectly fine. It's what we are used to doing at this point. Following the downing of a U.S. Army AH-64 Apache attack helicopter patrolling over the strategic waters of the Strait of Hormuz. The underlying cause of the crash is remaining under active federal investigation. Military analysts, though, suspect a mid-air collision with a hostile Iranian Shahed-type drone, bringing down the multi-million-dollar aircraft prompting the White House to declare that they needed to retaliate. They had no other choice. It was a necessity. The initial incident triggered a high-stakes, first-of-its-kind rescue operation in the dead of the night. Both American pilots survived the impact and were pulled from the water in stable condition. Okay, then why do we have to reply? Why do we have to respond? In all honesty, like, you just down one of our Apache attack helicopters. Why do we got to blow up one of your cities? I feel like, listen, they didn't even kill one of our guys. Can we blow up a hospital we know they're not using this time? Despite the successful rescue, U.S. Central Command moved rapidly at the president's direction, deploying Navy and Air Force fighter jets to execute what they described as a proportional self-defense strike. Multiple strikes. Precision American munitions slammed into vital Iranian air defense batteries, surveillance radar sites, and ground control stations stretching across the entire coastal region. The targeted American strikes immediately provoked a volatile, far-reaching response across the region. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps fiercely denied deliberately shooting down the helicopter, but immediately launched its own massive wave of retaliatory drone and missile attacks, claiming direct hits on 21 separate U.S. and allied targets. Loud explosions were reported at the 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain and an American air base in Jordan, while air defense systems in Kuwait worked frantically to intercept hostile aerial targets throughout the night. How fun.
Begin with new attacks and a ceasefire with Iran. American forces are targets this morning after the U.S. retaliated for an Apache chopper.
Why do we still call it a ceasefire? Are we even talking about, like, ceasing the fire at any point?
Shot down. Iran released this video claiming it launched missiles toward U.S. allies in the region. Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv. Charlie, good morning. None of this sounds like we are getting closer to peace like we have been hearing.
Right, not at all. Iran went on the attack today, launching strikes toward U.S. bases and facilities in Kuwait, Bahrain, even neighboring Jordan. And we're also learning a little bit more about that drone used to rescue the Apache helicopters, the pilots. U.S. Navy officials say an unmanned Navy Corsair drone like this raced to the rescue of the stricken Apache helicopter crew before the Iranians could reach them, in a first for the U.S. military. The soldiers were transported from hostile waters to a safer place before being hoisted up by helicopter. In another first, we've learned the helicopter was downed by an Iranian exploding drone, an unprecedented strike on an advanced U.S. aircraft. In retaliation, U.S. officials tell CBS News that U.S. Navy and Air Force fighter jets launched widespread airstrikes against Iranian targets along the Strait of Hormuz, including air defenses, ground control stations, and surveillance radar sites. U.S. Central Command sent out a statement that its forces completed self-defense strikes, suggesting the proportional U.S. military response is over, at least for now.
Proportional.
Iran, in turn, launched its own retaliatory strikes, sending a salvo of ballistic missiles.
Why don't we just, like, move the entirety of the United States' population to Tehran for just the 4th of July celebration? I say this only because we are being treated to a massive fireworks display every single day in the Middle East. Wouldn't it be just kind of stunning to watch multiple... I understand shrapnel. I understand you're worried about people... you're not so worried about, civilian deaths, but I understand these are American citizens. You got to treat them differently. So you're worried about shrapnel falling on their heads, but wouldn't it be fun, kind of as the Americans, to experience one of the wars that... Not, I'm saying we have to, like, send you out on the battlefield. I'm saying we build this sort of massive stadium kind of a thing for them all to stand in that protects them, but then they get to watch the Iron Dome blowing up missiles as they try to destroy the city. Wouldn't that be... I don't know. I feel like it would save a lot of gunpowder, a lot of bullshit. We should probably start hiring... Isn't it TNT Fireworks? Let's hire them for, like, a defense contract.
Towards U.S. facilities across the region. Jordan alone reported shooting down 5 missiles aimed at an airbase hosting American forces. Tehran's foreign minister, Apache, warning on social media, quote, "Despite its defeats on the battlefield, the U.S. opted to test our determination. Leave our region if you want to be safe."
All right, Charlie, just hours before these strikes happened, Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife sat down with Robert Costa for a CBS Sunday Morning interview. Now, the Vice President insisted a deal with Iran is still close. We want to play a bit of that and get your take on it. Let's listen.
Let's listen.
right now, I feel that we are in a position to get a deal that is good for the United States economically, and it really does deal with the Iranian nuclear program, not just now, not just while Donald Trump is president, but for the long term, to where my kids can say when they're adults, Iran is not going to have a nuclear weapon. That's the goal of the policy, and I think we're very close to achieving that goal, but we still got some wood to chop, and we're going to keep doing it.
You say very close. How soon? Could the deal happen before the midterm elections?
Oh, absolutely. No, I didn't
What?
really know a lot before the midterm elections. Look,
No, they asked when.
I think that the deal could happen in the next week, but the deal could also happen months from now.
Are the Iranians stringing President Trump along in your
This is not an answer.
view?
No, I don't think so. Again, I think their system takes a long time to reach consensus. I would see people ask me.
This guy is really tough for a lot of the podcast types that did have him on. They did have him. They asked him questions, reasonably so, where they were like, "So you're gonna be the guy who's making sure that Trump keeps all his promises, right?" It's really tough now for a lot of these people to look at JD Vance because he's not the cool guy that a lot of these people tried to make him out to be during the midterm elections, not the elections. Listen, I agree with partially what Kamala Harris's campaign put out. He's a weird guy. He's got some just mannerism issues. He's clumsy. He's got overly folded eyes that just kind of make him look like he's wearing eyeliner all the time. He doesn't have an aura about him. He doesn't carry it well.
You trust the Iranians. And what the president has said is, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. What
He doesn't
I
even
do
trust you.
Is my own.
He has you come out here and embarrass yourself in front of the nation.
To negotiate. I trust our administration's ability to negotiate.
Do you?
Could be in the next couple of days, could be in the next couple of weeks, it could be in a month. Charlie, it seems that there's a disconnect between what the administration is saying about those talks and what's actually happening on the ground. What do you make of this?
Yeah, Vlad, clearly there's a disconnect. None of this can happen.
Clearly
We're
there's
talking
a
about
disconnect.
ground helicopter, multiple U.S. airstrikes, and the kind
All right, Charlie D'Agata. He's not helpful. I'm sorry. I don't think that his voice, his graveliness, is helping come across and communicate messages to you. I think you get it. We're going to continue doing our back and forth with Iran while we still allow Israel to slowly expand its territory, allow them to conquer, turn over their neighbors in the north. They're going to start to encroach on Turkey. They're going to start to encroach on Syria, Jordan. It's fine. We need greater Israel because apparently it benefits us as Americans, or at least that's what the propaganda told me to tell you. All right. Bill Gates to face the House committee over ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Before stepping into the secure hearing room, Gates briefly addressed a lot of reporters, and he gave us a very comforting, few words. This, I don't know about you guys. I read energies. Whenever I'm watching someone in an interview or I'm listening to them talk, I'm listening to a podcast, I listen for energies. And the energy that this is giving is like me right before parent-teacher conferences. This is giving the energy of, I know that I fucked up. I know that there's 134 missing assignments waiting for my parents to like open their phones any day and see. I know that they have probably been pushing off the issue because they know they're just going to have to deal with it when they go to see my teacher. And I know that they're going to talk about my 4 Fs. I know they're going to do something. Listen, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be good. And now I have to go and I have to face the questioning, the House Ethics Committee that is my parents and the teacher. And now this is very much Bill Gates, ladies and gentlemen, a comforter to the nation that he is. He delivers us a few words that make us all feel a lot better about his involvement potentially.
I'm glad to be here voluntarily to testify to help with the committee's work. I'll start with an opening statement in the hearing room. I hope my testimony is helpful to the work
of these teachers trying to figure out where all these missing assignments went.
Work of the committee to find justice for the victims. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you regret your friendship with Jeffrey Epstein?
My mom's like, do you regret staying up, 18 hours a night? Do you regret not studying for tests? And I just turn around and I walk into the room and I'm like, we'll deal with this when we do.
This morning, one of the biggest names in business set to face questions about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
I've not accused Bill Gates of any wrongdoing. Just want to ask what he knew and if he saw certain things.
Bill Gates appears thousands of times in messages and photos in the Justice Department's Epstein files. In a series of 2013 emails Epstein sent to himself, he appeared to suggest Gates was having an affair and seeking illicit drugs. Allegations a Gates spokesperson has called absolutely absurd and completely false. Overnight, a spokesman...
I would love to comment on this real quick. With the issue that a lot of people see with Bill Gates, it's like, well, not only is he scum, but he gives his wife a potential STD or STI. It could be either. And, you know, it's bad enough that you get a dirty dick behind your wife's back and then you proceed to transmit it to her. That's bad enough. Then you are going to administer not a cure, but like a treatment. You're going to administer these drugs to this woman behind her back. I don't know if it's legal to address... Is it legal to even administer drugs to your spouse? I understand they were married at the time, but is it legal to do... I don't think it is. I think it's like illegal no matter who's doing it to you.
Says, while Gates never witnessed or participated in any of Epstein's illegal conduct, he is looking forward to answering all the committee's questions to support their important work. Gates' ex-wife, Melinda, this spring describing very painful memories when asked about her former husband and his ties to Epstein.
Whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband.
Gates has not been accused of criminal wrongdoing in relation to Epstein, but he's expressed regret for the relationship, apologizing to Gates Foundation staff earlier this year.
I wish I would have killed more kids for you guys. Think about how famous and big our company. I know we're literally one of the biggest tech companies out there right now, but damn it, if I managed to get a few more kids in before he went and got arrested, now I got to deal with this random fucking guy. He speaks Italian, you know, but he has just as much money, and he was just the next closest guy. He knew Jean-Luc Brunel and whatnot. Now I have to deal with these underground kid manufacturers. Listen, I bet Bill is sitting there right now going with his lawyers and he's going, you know, I miss the old days. And they're going, what do you mean by that, Bill? And he goes, I miss the old days when I could just rely on Jeffrey to get it done. I didn't have to make sure that the cartel that I was hiring was going to be moving in kids with the specific blood type, or, you know, I told Jeffrey that we needed a child related indirect bloodline to King Solomon, and he had it done. He had that girl on the altar by the time that I showed up. And then the lawyers are going, well, Bill, that just sounds, it sounds horrific. And he goes, you're telling me I have to procure my own ceremonial daggers now. I have to sharpen all this shit myself. I've had to go on DIY. I've had to go on DIY lately. I've had to kill these kids. I'm going old school. Bill Gates is having to go old school with his pedophilic behavior. He's like, I can't just go to Jeffrey anymore. I have to go old school. I have to get the makeup to get a mustache on, and I have this ice cream truck and shit, and I net the kids, and I'm like, I gotcha. And then I throw them in the freezer and whatnot, where I keep my grenadine and ice cream treats, like Clint Howard in that one, the Ice Cream Man. It's this old like horror movie. It's cute. It's dumb. It's really, really stupid. But that's what Bill Gates is having to do now in order to procure his children. And by his children, I don't mean his biological children. I mean the children that are his. They're his because he bought them, all right? It doesn't matter whether or not they were his biological children. He bought them fair and square off the black market. It's his.
In part, it was a huge mistake to spend time with Epstein. His ties to the convicted sex offender date back to 2011, 3 years after Epstein's sweetheart Florida plea deal, which he addressed on Today.
Back in 2011, he was like, wow, this iPhone thing. Send an email. It's like as easy as getting my buddy to send me a kid.
In 2022.
I had a goal of raising money for global health. I didn't realize that meeting with him almost downplayed the incredibly awful things he did.
The House Oversight.
By the way, I want to make this very clear. At this point in life, a dinner with Jeffrey Epstein, in the media's mind, a dinner with Jeffrey Epstein is less compromising than a dinner with someone like me. Someone like me, who will tell you the truth of the world, who will tell you about the Vatican, who will tell you about, unfortunately, the Torah, who will tell you about Islam, who will tell you about all of these mass cults that do exist all around us. By the way, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, you're just as crazy as the Scientologists. You just refuse to see it. And it's unfortunate, it's regrettable that I have to give these futures in a way that makes people think that, I don't like you. I don't like you because you think that. I'm sorry that, hey, Jesus was persecuted too. Truth tellers generally are.
Tuesday, also questioning Epstein's longtime secretary, Leslie Groff. Groff described
Leslie Groff, we'll hire you. Your brain on air. We need some assistants. We need some secretaries here. We're not going to ask you to like arrange like an elementary school of bus children to go missing, but we'll need you to like, I don't know, get Josh Boschee on the show somehow. I want to talk to the new mayor of Fargo.
Soft spoken by one lawmaker who sounded skeptical of parts of her testimony related to Epstein.
She worked for him for 18 years, but maintains that she did not have a relationship, or she wouldn't call it a relationship. So it is highly inconsistent.
Groff told lawmakers she witnessed no explicit sexual behavior and has not been accused of wrongdoing. As for Gates,
she didn't witness it. She did it.
On Capitol Hill shortly, and given the many questions lawmakers say they have for him, it's likely his testimony will last hours into tonight. Craig?
Our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson.
I don't know why he sounds like he's got a mouthful of marbles. This is gross. In an unsealed copy of his opening statement, Gates forcefully maintained that he had never witnessed or had any indication of Epstein's criminal behavior. He fiercely asserted that he'd never visited the financier's private island, ranch, or Florida estate. He lied. That's fine. That's okay. He can lie. Gates explained to lawmakers that he was so hyper-focused on raising multi-billion-dollar funds for global health initiatives, look at how good a person I am, that's all that sentence was, that he allowed that objective to completely override his better judgment. He further alleged that the unsealed files prove Epstein was actively trying to weaponize unverified graphic lies regarding Gates's past marital infidelities in a failed, desperate attempt to blackmail the billionaire and rehabilitate his own image. Listen, Epstein's image is not the one that's rehabilitated right now. Gates, I'm so sorry to tell you this. Everybody, we're back to square one. Back where everybody thought that you were just this union-crushing weirdo back in the 90s. I know that you took this time when I was a child to like put yourself in National Geographic, to be like, this is the man saving the world and whatever. The vaccines are killing people now. It's fine. It's fine. You can go out and kill people. Who am I to tell you that you can't kill people? That's okay. That's okay. It's just that you're a demon. You're a demon from hell. That's perfectly fine. You can be a demon from hell. I'm not going to stop you. And neither should you, ladies and gentlemen. We should only condemn. And if you really are that angry about it, don't buy a laptop. Don't buy Microsoft. And if you really... Listen, I love that. I love that. Listen, I don't own a Tesla. I'm not the biggest fan of Elon. I don't own anything Tesla. And you know what? I love Kanye West. I still listen to his music. I don't give a fuck. I don't care, ladies and gentlemen. He's a truth teller, and they gotten him to go soft on the Jews. They've gotten him to go soft on the Jews because it's... Listen, when I say I have an issue with the Jews, it's not because they're Jewish people, it's because they're Jewish. I have an issue with Judaism. I have an issue with Christianity. I have an issue with Islam. I think that they're all poisonous to the head. The way that Tucker Carlson describes a mind virus that is Christian Zionism, he's missing the point. The mind virus is Christianity. The mind virus is Judaism. The mind virus is Islam. It's these systems that allow people to skirt by whatever rules they'd like, to formulate things like the Catholic Church, which are really just massive sex trafficking operations, and then they feel good about themselves when they drop $5 in the collection plate. It's goofy, it's funny, and it's hilarious. So don't get on my ass just because I listen to Kanye West. His music is banger. I don't care if he allegedly sexually assaulted a model. Okay, by the way, let's address this actually. Boom, rapid fire section of today's headlines. We're already in it. A lot of things you need to know about in order to keep your media diet healthy. First one that we're going to address. This is bullshit. Model Jennifer Ann alleges Kanye West assaulted her while filming a sequence for a music video in which he was making a cameo appearance. Lawyers for the rapper do not deny the encounter took place, but have argued that it was a part of an intense, provocative theatrical performance. His representatives have been contacted for further comment. This woman from 2010 is when this incident happened. Get out the door. I'm sorry. I'm not listening to anybody who has any claims from longer than like a year ago. Enough. We live in the era of post-Me Too. You're not allowed to sit on these allegations for years. You're not allowed to just kind of go, oh, I thought no one would believe me. That's not a thing anymore. It's non-existent. So get this bitch out of here. Let's hear her exact words.
I didn't
know what was going to happen. I was given no direction. I was just told to sit in this chair.
A model has accused Kanye West of sexually assaulting her by choking her and forcing his fingers into her mouth on the set of a music video in
Choking you and forcing fingers down your mouth? That's not sexual assault. Oh my God.
Now, Kanye's lawyers don't deny that this happened, but they say it was part of an artistic performance and that the model, Jennifer Arn, did not object to it while it was happening.
There you go.
In an exclusive interview with the Fame Under Fire podcast, Jen told me that she wasn't aware that West was going to be on set that day, that when he arrived, he picked her out for a one-on-one scene.
It started where he went up to my face and he was like smearing my makeup on my face.
He was making it look better. Because, by the way, just a little piece of advice. You cannot do makeup now. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to make it look natural. I know you're trying to hide your big, wide-ass mouth. It's not working. None of it's working.
And
Do you need a minute?
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I don't believe you. Bullshitter. She goes to Fame Under Fire. Fame Under Fire? What the fuck are you even talking about? What kind of a fucking media source is this, BBC?
Smearing the makeup all over my face in a way that just felt
Oh, he smeared my makeup and it felt wrong. Wrong.
he started sticking his fingers in my mouth and
Did you say no?
he was like trying to touch as much as he could, and I was actively, my tongue was like hiding from him, and he just like found everything.
Now, Jen told
Now, I'm not a black guy, so I've never beat up a woman. I've never like aggressively put my hands on one, but it sounds like he's just doing what he's doing. It sounds like he's just recording. He's like, I gotta show the camera that I really, this is in your mouth, man. You don't know whether or not he was going for his dental doctrine.
Kanye didn't speak to her before, during, or after the interaction.
Before, during, or after? He didn't even speak to you during it. How do you know he was getting off on this?
Shouted, "This is our own Picasso."
Yeah,
and
he
then
is.
abruptly left. Now, we contacted Kanye for his comment, of course, and we haven't heard back. But in one of his legal filings, his lawyers wrote, Ye staged an intense and provocative theatrical performance, which paralleled scenes in American Psycho, including acts to emulate forced oral sex.
There you go.
The plaintiff, Jen, may have experienced some difficulty breathing. Now, Jen filed her lawsuit under the Gender Motivated Violence Act in New York, which temporarily extends the statute of limitations for sexual assault survivors. It's now up to a judge to decide if this case will proceed to trial.
Cool. All right. So she was a model. She was of age at the time. And this was not like a thing where he was grooming her into this sort of a situation. Where's the news story here exactly? Am I allowed to just go back to listening to Hail Hitler? Can I just go back to admitting that his music is fantastic? All right, great. I'm glad that we can all go back to the normalcy of everything because this is such a nothing burger of a story. I'm sorry, Jennifer, and if you didn't like it that much, you should have said something about it 16 years ago! Jesus fuck! All right, whatever. Celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary appeared to dig in his heels in recent days after facing backlash on all sides over the planned 40,000-acre AI data center in a campus in Utah. He's roughly twice the size. It's roughly twice the size of Manhattan. But now he says he's willing to shrink the project. Listen, what do you mean by shrinking the project? Is it just going to go from 40,000 acres to 20,000 acres? Is it still going to consume however many gigawatts of energy? What's the details?
An update on celebrity investor Kevin O'Leary and his plans for that massive AI data center in Utah. He's now saying he's willing to shrink the 40,000-acre project. It's a major reversal from what he told us just last week, right here in Top Story.
We do have about 40,000 acres of which we could use as much as 25%. But remember, this is not farmland. This is arid desert, and it's used for grazeland. And most of the ranchers that have sold this are leasing it back to continue grazing. It's not in anybody's backyard.
Now O'Leary says he has no choice but to slim down the campus after facing a new wave from political backlash. In a letter obtained by NBC News, O'Leary writing he could cut the size by about half.
About half. Wait a minute. Okay, so if you're like I predicted it, 20,000 acres. That's still a lot of acres. Twice the size of Manhattan. Now we're just looking at just the size of Manhattan. All right, you got me sold. Build one in every city. Build one outside of the outskirts of Minneapolis. I know that one's coming, by the way. Egan Park, all that bullshit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What are we even talking about? AI data centers. Exactly. Kevin O'Leary, you have my endorsement. Fantastic. Good to hear about it. Glad you were able to reconsider lowering the, surface temperatures at night, 28 degrees, however much. I'm glad you could reconsider that to only like 26 degrees at night. That's going to help. It's going to do a lot. And I'm really grateful for the fact that billionaires are motivated. They are gracious and giving in their nature. They are ones to learn from their mistakes. They're not ones to poison rivers or poison vaccines or to poison you or your family with the food that they serve in grocery stores to the point where you live in a food desert. Good luck getting any other option. Unfortunately, some of these people are big tubs of shit. It's because they only it's because for some reason when they go to get McDonald's, they can't manage to realize that they need to get maybe one less Big Mac. Listen, am I judging people for living in food deserts? No, but I'm also judging people for being fat. You should not be fat in a food desert. I'm sorry, you should never be. If you claim to be stricken by poverty, if you claim to be on EBT, if you claim to be on SNAP, any of that shit, I don't want to see a double chin. I don't want to see loose skin. I want you to be bone thin because you got to be working. You know what I mean? You got to show me that you're one of these people that actually does something with your body during the day. All right, children under 13 will no longer be prosecuted in Minnesota under a new law. Terrible idea, because Minnesota in general is a land where I knew when I was growing up and, whatever, 13 was an age where people were still swinging axes. You know what I mean? They were still, if you live in the south part of the city, you're old enough to kill your parents and you're old enough to who's the one gentleman who killed his entire family and is serving on death row for it? Exactly. 13 is still an age that one can be criminally active.
Social workers are sounding the alarm about a change in how Minnesota handles crimes committed by kids.
It's arguable. It's arguable that 13, yes, that is obviously still a kid, but teenager, what does teenager even mean? I've heard some idiots try to push the teenager into I'm 19, I'm a teenager. You're a young adult. You have transitioned. You are a tranny from teenager, which was that. You are now a young adult. I don't like when people who are in their, early 20s still continue to call themselves kids.
We don't want to see these youth fall through the cracks.
Starting August 1st, children under 13 cannot face criminal charges in Minnesota.
Why?
Supporters say it's a needed reform to get kids the help they need. But
why?
Ashley Graham's learned some counties aren't ready to make that change. Ashley?
Yeah, this law passed at a legislative session about 2 years ago. It's going into effect now later this summer, changing the approach from juvenile justice to social services.
If you went to any public school, you know that there is one kid, it's normally like a kid named Gage or something like that, who they need to be struck with a needle that has something to sedate them. And these kids, they need to be pulled out of the classroom. Otherwise they're going to fight their way out. I remember these kids back in elementary school and whatnot. There was this one kid caused a ruckus every single day in school. And when the teachers tried to get him out, he grabbed a chair and pulled it along with him into the hallway. It was horrific. There are some of these kids that unfortunately, they need to feel the cold grip of steel around their little wrists because that's the only thing that's going to scare some of these kids straight.
In Minnesota, we've seen it before.
5 teenage passengers and a 12-year-old behind the wheel.
Kids committing crimes.
Sometimes we're seeing kids as young as 12 and sometimes younger.
On August 1st, children ages 10, 11, and...
It's because the parents are a mess. Have you met a parent in Minnesota within the last 20-something years? They're all Gen Xers who, listen to Blink-182. They're all strung out on their couches. You ask them, where's your kid at? And these people who... They were so, they hated their boomer parents, how they never paid any attention to them. And now they're and then they pull up their phone app that gives them... It doesn't tell you where their kid is. It tells you where the kid's phone is. And they're like, oh, close enough, right? Like, it's just like, what am I supposed to do? It's just like a kid and shit. They're all strung out on weed gummies. That's, by the way, most parents in Minnesota now. By this time that you're hearing it, it's the same types of kids that in Moorhead however long ago, I think it was like a week or two ago, these parents, their kid took their gummies to school and started handing them out to all of the kids, and they got strung out. These kids got strung out on weed gummies. They're expected to make a full recovery, but they got high as shit because these parents are inattentive weirdos. I'm sorry, Minnesota's becoming a Colorado type of state. Am I fine with that? I would be if we had the same gun ownership rights, if we had the same generally freedoms that Colorado believes in, but whatever. You know, I understand Minnesota is more European socialist than it is, you know, libertarian socialist, which, whatever you like.
Will be dealt with differently in Minnesota. According to state law, children under 13 can no longer be prosecuted.
Stupid.
Instead, they will be redirected to social services.
I cannot wait to see how many social service administrators, social service workers get the shit knocked out of them by these kids.
That's a role that we're not used to dealing with in terms of addressing public safety for people that commit crimes.
This kid's gonna be like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm 10 years old and I'm gonna kill you. I will murder you and like right here where you sit.
Against other people.
Brown County's Human Services Director also represents a statewide association of social service administrators. She says in the few cases where kids do commit violent crimes, counties could be hard-pressed to find a secure location for that child.
Really are looking for some reasonable exceptions for those violent crimes.
Data from Minnesota's Juvenile Justice Advisory Committee shows 747 kids between the ages of 10 and 12 were arrested in 2023. 423 of them were referred for court proceedings, but fewer than 100 required detention. The vice chair of the advisory committee says they support the change, but are concerned counties aren't equipped with the proper services and training right now.
We aren't sure what the capacity is going to be and where those services are really going to need to be put in place.
During the legislative session, the advisory committee asked state lawmakers to delay the law another year, but that didn't happen.
Why delay?
Through the cracks.
But the state...
No, don't delay it. Just throw it into practice, and I can't wait to see what we do with all of these kids. I can't wait. Like, whether or not you think it's going to go well, whether or not you think they're going to be, you know, they're going to be out killing their friends, whatever you think, it probably is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to say it. Minnesota kids, just because they live in colder weather, it means that they're going to be colder about their crimes. It means that they're going to be cold, they're going to be cunning, they're going to be conniving, and they're going to slit your throat in the middle of the night because you tried to send them to a social worker. All right, 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony found guilty in track meet murder. This is building up a lot of controversy between... So there's a big thing where, in general, a big part of the distraction, as I like to call it, is turning people against each other for the reasons of race. It's not for the reasons of culture. It's not for the reasons of where they came from. It's not a reason for, like... It's not behind maybe their family values in general were formulated underneath a disgusting book like the Quran. It's not any, like, legitimate concerns like that. It is, this individual is guilty or innocent purely via the factors of their race. And that, listen, Karmelo Anthony is a case where you can look at this little young black boy, 19 years old, stabbed this kid, Chris Metcalf, what is it? Austin Metcalf. My mistake. I'm so sorry. Karmelo was, he was being a little rowdy. I'm going to be honest with you. And many people are calling this black fatigue. Many people are calling this case a situation where, there's a stir up in the black community where they're knee-jerk reacting to support this kid's case. So essentially, if you don't know the get down behind this story, Austin Metcalf is telling this kid, who is this black boy, hey, this is a track meet right now. You're not supposed to be here. Or are you even a part of track? He was sitting underneath their tent. Apparently, it belonged to the team of Memorial High School, where Metcalf was a junior. Other students had also asked the young black boy to leave the tent. Anthony then refused to when Metcalf told Anthony that he needed to move. Witnesses reported that Anthony reached inside of a bag and replied, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf gave Anthony a shove, and then Anthony pulled out a pocket knife and fatally stabbed Metcalf in the chest. So, he chimped out. He went ahead and he chimped out because he said, touch me and see what happens. By the way, it's always with black people. They'll always go, touch me and see what, because then they want you to be the instigator, and then they're going to flat out kill you. He thought that this was going to be a case where he was sitting in under, by the way, as a person who was never in sports, why would you be sitting under the sports tent, you fucking idiot? And you proceed then to stir up a bit of a conflict with obviously jocks, these individuals who are known not really for their emotional intelligence. And then after multiple people asked him to leave, he said, touch me and see what happens. He always wants, it's them, they look for an excuse to chimp out. And then, listen, I say chimp out because it's expressive and it's accurate and it's exactly what happened. And then despite life-saving efforts, Metcalf died at the scene in his twin brother's arms. Very, very interesting. Anthony was tried as an adult. The defense argued that Anthony acted in self-defense out of fear, which is, bullshit. He was goading the other individual by saying, touch me and see what happens. And prosecutors called the stabbing unjustified, intentional, a sneak attack. Ultimately, the jury, they agreed with me. They agreed with the idea that this individual should have been thrown away, maybe. I'm not supportive of the death penalty, but maybe given the chair. But then this is just perfect, because if you do not look at the details, if you just look at the front-facing value of it, this is just like a perfect George Floyd situation where most people don't know any of the details. They see young black boy going in front of court, and they see him getting guilty verdicts, but they don't give a fuck about what he did before the interaction. Why are you persecuting a young innocent black boy?
Tonight, emotions boiling over outside the courthouse.
How?
Protesters in each other's faces, some openly weeping.
Over some chimp?
And for others, relief that justice was served.
You think this is justice for Austin?
I believe so.
As a Texas jury finds 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony guilty of murder for...
By the way, this, the GoFundMe that was started and whatnot, this is all government psyop. This is all a government psyop in order to get white and black people to race war. Get you guys to fight about anything else except for credit card debt. Get you to talk about anything else except for the Vatican, the Freemasons, global influence in politics. Talk about race. Talk about white supremacy. Talk about that. Don't talk about how America's a melting pot. Don't talk about how, sometimes black people can do fucked up shit because of the cultures they come from. Sometimes white kids, they'll just ask you to move at a meet, and then as a white person, that's a microaggression. You should have known with your lack of melanin that I would have thought a ghost was coming after me, and I was gonna stab you in the chest. That's his argument.
Stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet last year.
You will never disrespect a black. I love how black people pronounce the B-L-A. Black people.
Said Anthony instigated the confrontation. The prosecution calling his actions unjustified and intentional.
True.
Telling the jury, you don't get to meet a shove with a stab.
True.
Especially if you provoke the shove.
Bam!
In closing arguments Tuesday, the defense again tried to portray Metcalf as the aggressor, that he made physical contact first, and Anthony defended himself in a split second of chaos.
Wow.
What was it like?
What was it like?
When the verdict was read.
I feel like it was designed to protect white people.
Protect white people. See exactly how they interview the lowest IQ, most lukewarm-brained individuals, and then this will get turned over in the history books. George Floyd will be remembered not for his overdose or for his many crimes, but for instead how he was, he overdosed and unfortunately was in a position that looked very, very bad for the Minneapolis Police Department, despite the fact that restraining technique was taught to every other police department in the country. I don't know what else to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. This is just going to be another incident of unreasonable, in my personal opinion. But then again, reasonable people will disagree. Reasonable people always do. That's exactly why we have these sorts of, we always say people are entitled to a reasonable defense. And this reasonable defense got dunked on.
And it was not designed to protect black people.
Of course it wasn't designed to protect black people, because the black person wasn't the victim here. I understand that we have this idea that anytime you see a black person in a situation that is like, oh, I know that we don't love to talk about black-on-black violence unless you like to get teary-eyed and throw each other prom parties, because it's like, it's a celebration if we even get our girl to survive past 16. I understand that you're really concerned about crime there, but your main concern It's about the manufactured image of white supremacy you have been told is affecting this case when you yourself have likely not even seen the details of it. That's fine. That's okay.
Supporters of Anthony have raised concerns for a fair trial after
Why?
black people were seated on the jury.
Oh, only black people can judge a black person? Only. Oh, it's because they don't understand the lived experience.
Inside the courtroom, tears from both families. Anthony's mother described as weeping, later asking the court to please have mercy on my son.
Kill him.
And Ryan Chandler joins us tonight live outside the courthouse. Ryan, do we know anything about the sentencing?
Well, Tom, we can tell you that Anthony was in tears as the jury left to decide.
Woo!
Up to 99 years in prison, though his defense is asking the jury to consider a sudden passion provision that could limit that window to just 2 to 20 years for the prosecution's part.
Now, how about life? That's okay. I'm okay with a 19-year-old losing his life. That's okay. Like, as in, like, losing the rest of his life where he'll live to, I don't know, he looks like his family's got some diabetes in their history, maybe like 60s, late 60s. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Karmelo Anthony just sitting in a jail cell for the rest of his life. Same thing with the Menendez brothers. I haven't been supportive of those fucking parent murderers getting out. I haven't been supportive of the, I don't give a fuck. I don't care whether or not their dad was sexually assaulting them. I don't care whether or not the mom knew anything about it. They were 18 years old. They should have left when they had the ability to.
For a lengthy prison sentence telling the jury nothing you do will take more from Karmelo Anthony and his family than he took from the Metcalfs.
Bam.
Ryan Chandler covering that trial from the get-go.
Pretty fun, ladies and gentlemen. Karmelo Anthony, I hope to, rest in hell, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, this is an unnecessarily racialized debate. This is not whites versus blacks. This is not the verdict. They're not designed to protect black people. You're not concerned about the white person who's dead. You're not concerned about the white family, whether or not these people even are white. What kind of a last name is Metcalf? Metcalf, name, origin. Let's figure this out. Okay, of English origin, heavily rooted in Yorkshire Dales. Okay, cool. That's perfectly fine. It says fattened calf. It means fattened calf. Oh, interesting. I think that they sacrificed Metcalf. And this individual, Austin Metcalf, he is the sacrificial calf in order to get the people to debate again, just like how George Floyd was that year's sacrificial calf. And Karmelo Anthony, unfortunately, will not be this year's sacrificial calf. He was not the one who died. But he will be the instigator for the proceed. This is all a sacrifice. This is all a massive distraction. You're engaging in the sacrifice when you proceed to debate whether or not blacks and whites, which race is more violent, all this shit. And, if you really want the answer to that question, you can find it via the statistics. You can find out which race commits the most crimes. I'm sure that Karmelo Anthony's family won't be that happy when it doesn't go along with their narrative. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, final story that we're going to cover. Homeless on Skid Row. They claim that they were paid to vote for Karen Bass and Nithya Raman. Interestingly enough, this is, it's surfacing now as a moment where following the fiercely contested primary race, initial results showed Bass and Raman advancing to high stakes, the high stakes November runoff, dramatically shutting out high-profile outside challengers. However, with millions of mail-in and provisional ballots taking days to tally across the state, the sudden public allegations of illegal vote buying have prompted conservative civic watchdogs and political opponents to demand an immediate sweeping investigation by county and federal election monitors. If there's homeless people voting, don't they have a say, I guess? I mean, they can't prove that they live anywhere, but just days after the Los Angeles primary, explosive allegations emerged from the heart of the city's most infamous area, Skid Row. Multiple unhoused individuals have come forward to claim that independent political organizers actively targeted them, offering cash, cigarettes, and food in exchange for casting their ballots for incumbent Mayor Karen Bass and progressive city council member Nithya Raman. Interesting. I live in Skid Row.
And did they come down here and try and pay you to vote?
Yes.
On a ballot?
Yes.
How much they pay you?
$5.
$5?
Come and vote for these candidates?
Yes, sir.
They told you who to vote for?
Yes.
Oh. So they told you to vote for Karen Bass or Nithya Raman?
Karen Bass.
Did you vote for Karen Bass?
Yeah.
For $5? Yeah. Did you vote?
Yeah.
Oh, you did for Karen Bass?
Yeah. Karen Bass. That's her last name, Bass?
Karen Bass, or Nithya Raman?
Karen.
Karen? They told you to vote for Karen?
Yeah. They had to sign a little thing.
And how much they pay you?
It's like $2.
$2? To sign off on a thing to vote for her?
$2. $2 is all it costs to get this lady's vote. I'll have her vote for me.
Just tell you to vote for Karen, huh?
They gave you an optional choice, but they tell you who they want to.
Well, they tell you who you want to vote for. It's like, yo, we'll give you $2, but you got to vote for one of these people.
Well, you know, I'm a barter, man, so I got $4.
You got what?
$4.
$4?
I'm a barter, so I got $4. I love how proud of it he is.
$4? Oh.
Yeah, I don't. Since I'm voting your way, can I get a play? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Smart player.
They're like, hey, you got.
That's like 1/30. That's like 1/30th of a purchase of heroin. You know.
Vote for one of these candidates, not Spencer. You do Karen or Nithya.
Yeah, what was that? That was the best one for me. I mean, that was one I was suggested for. I don't give a fuck.
By the way, this is what Josh Boschee should have been doing, going around to get the homeless of Fargo to vote for him. I'm sure that's exactly what he did. Otherwise, how did he get all those numbers out of nowhere? You know what I mean? I think that and by the way, I'm just telling you, I'm not making any allegations. Josh, this is a satirical show. I know you're going to see this one day, you big cherub looking man, you beautiful chubby cheeked man. You're going to run the city into the ground. That's perfectly fine. Whether or not I'll be here for it, can you please confirm this for me? Next time, if you really, really, really want a solid lead on those poll numbers, because Michelle Turnberg, me and her are working on her campaign. She's going to come back swinging next time. But if you really want to seal in that vote, if you want to seal in the fact that you're going to have a multiple term, tenure as mayor, go out. Offer them a hot dog. Offer them some sleeping quarters. You can come and stay at some of my realty properties and whatnot. Just vote for Josh. That's all you need. That's all you need, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Boschee, savior of Fargo, and homeless people allegedly voting for Karen Bass. Whatever. It's perfectly fine. They're homeless. They have just as much of a right to experience, I don't know, the joy of voting. Well, how much joy is there in voting, in all honesty? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here for today's episode. I had a wonderful time gathering these stories for you. I hope you had an even more wonderful time listening to them. I will be back at it again the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, to tell you whatever news happens to drop. I hope that y'all have a wonderful rest of your days, whatever that may contain. If you want to be there for it, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, like if you liked it. In the meantime, I've been Ollie Vogt Larson with your brain on air. Thank you so very much for listening. I'll catch you in the next episode, and bye-bye.